United, Real Sociedad, Europa League, and somehow they always end up with a penalty. That's the second time in 3 Europa League seasons that Real Sociedad have ended up with a penalty that, I don't know, man, sometimes I feel like the inconsistencies with VAR in European competitions, it's questionable. It's really questionable. But before I complain and before I rant, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe as well. Real Sociedad won, Manchester United won, and a lackluster performance from Real Sociedad actually sees them take the tie now to Old Trafford potentially, and they could actually win. Now, Manchester United at Old Trafford over the course of the season has not been the most impressionable, so I am a little bit concerned. But let's actually talk about this game, because I don't think it was actually the worst Manchester United performance that we've seen. But sometimes I feel like Manchester United are just victims of their own mentality, because as soon as that penalty went in, it's like the momentum shifted completely. And I always expect, unfortunately, if Manchester United are chasing a game and they're chasing a goal, I don't really expect a winner to come, if I'm being totally honest. But let me know your thoughts down below. Like I said, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe. Let's start with, for me, Rasmus Hojlund. I don't think he was that bad today. I really don't. Compared to what we're used to seeing, I don't think he was the worst player on the pitch for Manchester United, and that is probably an improvement on Rasmus Hojlund's side. Now, one thing that I noticed today, and I've actually noticed it in previous games, but it was quite telling today, is that a lot of calls, especially like physical calls, they do not go in Rasmus Hojlund's way. And I'm always curious to know, because it's not just in the Premier League, it's the same in the FA Cup, it was the same in the Carabao, it's the same in Europa League. Referees do not give him calls when it looks like, to me, sometimes it's a convincing foul. It looks like a convincing foul a lot of the time, but he does not get it. And today, again, I don't know if it's because he's always in physical duels where he's wrestling and he's huffing and he's puffing and he's pushing around. Maybe the referees are not convinced from that element that it could be a foul. But I saw 2 different instances today where it was a clear foul. It was a clear foul, one of them in front of the linesman, and it did not go his way. But overall, in comparison to what we're used to seeing, and I know, guys, the bar is here, bro. The bar is on the floor if I'm comparing Rasmus Hojlund to what we're used to seeing from him. But I think he was not a lot better, but he was slightly better. One person who I think is really starting to grow in his new founded role is Joshua Zirkzee. I'm really happy for him for the goal that he got. I've always felt that there is a role for him in this team, and not only that, I always felt like there's a player inside of him that Manchester United could utilise, and having him coming off the left channel with Patrick Dogu always kind of overlapping in comparison to Garnacho playing on that side was a smart decision for me from Ruben Amorim. Having Garnacho on the right with a Diogo Dalot, who we're going to get to, but a Diogo Dalot that has deficiencies going forward. Again, Garnacho might not be prolific, but he's slightly better than Dalot going forward. So I understand that balance. I felt like it was a much more balanced performance as well, especially with Casemiro and Bruno in the midfield. Joshua Zirkzee, like I said, getting the goal from a Garnacho assist, but is all-rounded, is a good team goal. And just on Joshua Zirkzee, 6 goals in his debut season for Manchester United, in a season where he hasn't really found his footing in the first team until recently, until injuries actually allowed him to find consistent football. Before, it was a lot more rotational, coming off the bench. Maybe one game he'll start here and there, but now he's starting to find his positioning in that little 10 role. And I think because of his abilities on the ball, quick outlet passes, he's quite composed in possession. So if he's getting pressed, he can kind of wriggle out of those situations in comparison to maybe other players. I think that's allowing him to flourish in this team, and in a team, for me, that United are really just 1 or 2 injuries away from a completely depleted starting 11. Like right now, today, this formation that started this Manchester United game against Real Sociedad was probably the best starting 11 that Ruben Amorim could have picked, if I'm being totally honest. And it's only 1 or 2 injuries away from a completely different team, a completely depleted team, and that actually really worries me. I mean, the fact that Man United don't really have resurgence in that front line. Chido Obi was not registered for Europa League, so he couldn't play, but the fact that we started with the only front 3 attackers that we kind of have, and I understand, Ugarte being out means that Bruno has to go into that deeper role, but even with Bruno going to that deeper role, I think it's smart from Ruben Amorim, because with the quality of Lisandro Martinez missing in that back line, the ball progression, it allows Bruno to pick up the ball from the back line and bring the ball forward, because Licha would have done that. Now, honorary mention for me to the back 3. Dalot, Yoro, Mazraoui, for me, they didn't really put a foot wrong. I think one thing I'm really starting to enjoy seeing in Leny Yoro is just, he's coming out of his shell more in terms of comfortable performances, consistently in the lineup, playing on the right-handed side, playing on the left-handed side. He's good on the ball. He can progress the ball. He's really good. One thing he's really good at is reading his aggressive situations very well. So when he steps out aggressively to a man, he knows when to get tight straight away or when to pull off a little bit and pull back a little bit. And that is, for me, some stuff that can't be taught. I think, that intelligence, that IQ is something that's developed from a young age. And he had it, he had it when he joined Manchester United, but now that we get to see him in the back three, which again, that requires the wide centre-backs to be aggressive. Ruben Amorim likes them to get tight to the players. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing from Leny Yoro, and as well as Nazir Mazraoui as well. Number one, fasting. Again, Allahumma barik, well done to him. They stopped the game so that he could break his fast. But again, playing in a different position. This guy has played left wing back. He's played right wing back. He's played right-sided centre-back. He's played left-sided centre-back. He's played number 10. All that's left is for him to play in the central centre-back role. And then he would have played in every position in the back line so far this season. Flexibility, that's what you want in your players. Now, is this really a team like... You lot are probably thinking Mina's sitting here and praising them as if, they won. But really and truly, I'm going to be so honest with you guys. Real Sociedad, up until that penalty, had nothing. But equally with saying that, it was very toothless from Manchester United. Garnacho, for me, needs to stop shooting. Garnacho needs to stop shooting completely. You see what happens when you find the pass? Man United score. Stop shooting wordlessly from every possible angle that you can get. Stop it. Stop it. I understand that, and it's weird because I get one instance, he's in a goal drought. It's nearly 20 games without a goal for him. Today, Rasmus Hojlund hit 21 games without a goal in the season so far. 21 consecutive games. And Garnacho is not that far behind him. I understand that. He's in a goal slump. But you're not going to get yourself out of a goal slump by hitting and hoping every single time. You're not going to do that. If you do the easy things well, the harder things will come to you. They will come to you. Now, I feel like sometimes he overcomplicates his game, and he just needs to simplify it sometimes. He just needs to simplify it. And like I said, today, Real Sociedad, let's be honest, guys, I don't know. Let me know if you agree, but I don't think they had much going for them up until that penalty. That penalty gave them a lifeline. It gave them a lifeline. And for me, it also sucked the momentum out of the game for Manchester United. And once Manchester United get that, once they start to see the cracks in their mentality, it's very hard for them to pick themselves up from that. And this was another prime example. Now, it's not the end of the world. It's 1-1 against Sociedad. The other time that we played them in Europa League group stages a couple of seasons ago, we beat them 1-0 and we lost 1-0. So clearly there's one goal between us and Sociedad. And now they're going to come to Old Trafford next week. And hopefully Manchester United will be able to see it out. But I'm just worried, guys. I'm really, really worried. When I saw Patrick Dogu go down today, I was, hoping that it didn't require him to come off. I saw Dalot pull up for a second, and Man United are not that far away from having a completely unexperienced squad. But with saying that, guys, if we just look at the bench today, Manchester United had 7 players on the bench, 2 goalkeepers, 5 outfield players, as predicted. I mean, Ruben Amorim, sometimes he's predictable, but sometimes he's unpredictable. But today is one of them instances. He's predictable. He's going to bring on the most senior players. He's not bringing on any of the academy players. I never anticipated to see any of the academy players coming on. It was nice to see Harry Amass on the bench. I didn't think that he was going to come on. Even Toby Collier, another player who I really like, and I really want him to get more opportunities with Manchester United because there is a player inside him. I was shocked to see Toby Collier coming on because I didn't think Amorim would have brought him on. But if you look at the injury list, the ever-growing injury list, a lot of these players are out long-term. That is the worrying thing. We got Ahmad out long-term. Mason Mount, don't even know where he is, but apparently he recently was at a Chelsea ex-employees, ex-coach or assistant coach or something, or sporting director or something, birthday party. That's where he is. Luke Shaw, don't know what happened to him. Manuel Ugarte is probably the only one that's out for a couple of days expectedly, as is Harry Maguire. But Johnny Evans, Leach is out for the season. Kobbie Mainoo's out till April at the least. Altay Bayinda is out till March. A lot of these players are out at least probably until the latter stages of the season. And if Manchester United and Ruben Amorim is going to have to continue to deal with, this depleted team of, having your starting 11 on paper and just hoping and wishing you don't have to use your bench, I'm worried. Because we got Arsenal on Sunday. And Arsenal, they might not be in the greatest of flying forms, but they just put 7 past PSV. They just put 7 past PSV. And PSV is not a walkover kind of team. And again, Arsenal, a team that don't have any out-and-out strikers. Is Manchester United going to struggle against, and not having an identifiable striker for your centre-backs to kind of be able to pick up and be aware of? Let's not think about the Arsenal game, but let me know your thoughts down below, what you thought about the Real Sociedad game. Like I said, VAR, they just gift Sociedad every single time they play against Manchester United. It's too inconsistent for me. The handball rule in the box, for me, I don't know what you could expect Bruno to do. And just quickly, actually, I never even got to speak about Diogo Dalot. He was the worst player on the pitch today. Look at this screenshot here, guys. Look at this. I mean, they had, Sociedad had a similar situation with Becker, who came off the bench. He plays the ball first time and it's a mishit shot. Could have gone up 2-1, but that's the difference in just intelligence, in knowing what to do. Diogo Dalot has to be one of the... No technical ability, no intelligence. He's just an athlete. That's it. He can just run. And sometimes running ain't enough in football, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe as well if you're new here.